haven't shown up yet, or okay, there's our recording. And so anyway, they show up. Maybe we'll acknowledge them here as they show up. But we also have a couple of new members this year. Bill, is his name Carlos?
The other way around, Roberto Carlos.
Roberto Carlos. Yeah, I keep getting that turned around. I don't know why. Roberto Carlos. And then Frank Vincent, he's wanting to rejoin the club this year. And I'd talked to Donna Corbin, or emailed her back and forth there a couple of weeks ago, and she's kind of walked around the idea maybe she'd like to get back at the club, but she's not sure. Not that's fine.
That'd be good to have her back.
Sure, I sent her an invitation. If you want to join us this evening, join in. But yeah, I'd really like to see her back. She's a really good photographer.
I haven't seen her in a long time.
No, I haven't seen her for a very long time.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah, well, actually, I think I saw her. Somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. Wife and I were out somewhere shopping here about 4 years ago, and I actually ran into her and I saw her and we talked for a little bit, but it's the last I'd seen her. Also, I was going to mention this year the club turns 85, and I think that is really something for a club to be around that long and still be active. And I've got an updated version of our 2022-23 assigned subjects with judges filled in. And probably what I'll do when Tom gets the notes ready for this meeting to send out, I'll forward that over to him so he can just attach that to it if you want. Is that all right with you, Tom?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Because we still have January, which is painting with light. February was bouquet, and March mechanical things. So we still don't have a judge for. I was gonna let me throw a feeler out here. I was gonna see what you guys thought about if I try to get a hold of Charlie Fisher to judge one of those. Anybody have a problem with Charlie Fisher?
He's the one in Ohio.
No, he's
he's in
in Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Charlie is a professional photographer, has his own business. He's retired now. And I don't know if I can get a hold of him. I'm gonna try to, but and he may say, nah, I'm done with that stuff. I don't know. But
Well,
yeah, Charlie's judged for us a few times. But I don't see if anybody had any issue with Charlie. Bill Stodmeyer. Okay, because Bill Stodmeyer we're talking about. I think the only member we had here really had a problem with him was Bill Hughes, who had a problem with a few other judges. I'm not going to go into that. But anyway, those are our three subjects we still have left open. I'm actually kind of going out on a limb, kind of hoping that maybe if Roy Inman would come in and join one of our meetings, that he might be interested in picking up the painting with light one. So he did a demonstration on that several years ago. I don't know how many of you guys remember that, but that was really good. I got a lot out of that. Roy does some fantastic work. But the last time we asked him to judge, he just really wasn't interested. He said he didn't want to do that anymore. So he may or may not. So
What was the gentleman's name that is an instructor at Johnson County Community College? He judged one of our
he sat in some time ago on two of our meetings. And I don't think that I haven't seen him since.
I'm not picking up on who you're talking about. I can't remember.
He's a professor out of Johnson County Community College. He teaches photography out there.
Yeah. He gave a critique of everybody's work. I thought it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah, I think you're right.
And
you're talking about the abstract?
The what?
The abstract, is that?
About Aaron Smith?
I don't remember the subject now. And I'm sorry, I don't recall the gentleman's name. I just remembered that Kathy Moffett was taking some classes with him.
Yeah,
and,
that's Aaron Smith.
Is that
welcome, Larry?
Hello, Mr. Liebert.
Hi.
Hey, Larry.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, same here.
Hello, Tom.
So you don't think that he would be interested in doing it again? Is that what
He
you?
is.
Oh, he
Yes.
is.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's
we
already
got him
scheduled.
scheduled.
Yeah, he's already scheduled.
Oh, great. Great. Because I thought he was very good at that.
Yes. Actually, we have the upcoming abstract/abstract in nature category. He's going to do that.
I see. Okay.
So for that entry, your entry could be abstract or an abstract in nature. But like I say, it's the January, February, March that we just don't have a judge for those 3 months so far. Another fella that we've used in the past, thought about it, haven't asked him yet, is Jim Mathis. I like Jim. He's very, very intelligent, very personable fellow. He's I don't know. He's the last time he judged for us, he did a little bit better than he has in the past. He's a little, I don't know, like he was a little bit, I don't know. It's kind of like he was holding back, getting too critical. But I could also contact him if anybody wants, if somebody, or if
How about
anybody,
Rick Cummings?
have we tried to get hold of him, Bill?
Yeah, I can't make any headway on the business card he gave me, so I don't know how to get a hold of that guy. I
Yeah.
run into him at the Lenexa Art Show, but his business card he gave me just doesn't work.
Yeah, I just saw
I
him
don't
over
know.
in Images.
Sure. One of the other judges we've used in the past, we've tried was Carol Barlow from Johnson County, but she's really not answering my emails, and she's not answering Bill Stodmeyer's email. So we've just kind of written her off. I don't know what is going on there, but
Hi, Donna.
Now you.
I see a Donna coming on. Donna Corbin.
Now, so then, yeah, hit it again.
Hit it again.
Yeah, hit that again.
Now, she doesn't have a
I don't know if
microphone
it's
or
Donna.
a camera, so.
Now, where's your
Donna, are you there?
volume?
Well, okay, could be over here.
Yeah.
I got my volume on this. See, this is on.
Right.
Speakers are on. Okay,
You're on, Tom.
Yeah, we hear you.
I'm with you now, guys.
We hear you, sir.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, we're just actually just getting. Oh, somebody just went away. Is that Travis? Somebody went away. But anyway, we're just now getting started with
Okay,
everything here. So
I'm a little late joining, but hi, guys.
hello.
Greetings.
So anyway, Mr. Liebert, want to give you a welcome to our Zoom meeting and to our September meeting for this year. Good to see you again, buddy.
Thanks. I've been a long time.
Yeah, it is.
And
Love your t-shirt.
while we have Larry up on the queue here, I'll remind everybody next month he'll be doing our landscape critique, but we're going to be doing it on Friday, October 14th, instead of on Wednesday the 12th. We're going to do it on the 14th. Correct, Larry?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
I'm coming back from Oregon, and with the train strike and everything else going on, I don't know what's going to happen out there. With
Yeah.
the train schedule from Seattle to Corvallis, Oregon.
Oh
but,
boy.
we don't know that we already paid for it, so we don't know what's going to happen.
Oh geez.
Amtrak's
Oh,
canceled most of the long distance trains already.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw on the news tonight that route is going to be on the strike.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Now, well, I hope that doesn't hit you guys out there. Jeez.
I can rent a car if I have to. It's about a 5.5 hour drive.
Yeah, man. Well, good luck with that trip. That's going to make it interesting. Well, Donna Corbin, I'm guessing you can hear me, but I want to welcome you to the meeting. And I just told everybody that you might be joining us, and everybody got a little excited. Nobody's seen or talked to you for quite a while. We miss you.
Hi, Donna.
Hello, Donna.
And I believe Donna still has some work up on our website, on our Camera Club website. We still have some of her images up there. We're going to leave them up there forever as far as that goes. let's see. Oh, the other thing I want to mention, now Marshall Ryman told me this the other day. He said he hadn't paid his dues. He's going to get them in, but I want to remind everybody, get your dues in. We want to get them in so that Bill Schaaf can get everything finished up for the year for getting everybody paid up. Let's see what I have here somewhere in my notes. I thought I did. The treasury balance. You got it handy there, Bill?
No, but I can go get it.
Oh, wait, I just found, okay, well, I'll let him fetch it.
Hey, Calvin,
Yes,
just a question. Have we ever had one judge do 2 months in 1 year?
not that I remember.
I just wondered if, any judge would be opposed to doing it twice. Don't know.
I don't know. That would really, I would say I'd leave that up to the group to decide if there was a judge they like so much, they would like to have him come back twice. That's what, if they did, we would want to spread it out. So we'd have one earlier in the season than one later.
Well, yeah,
Our later months are, April and May. April and May already have judges. March is the latest one out that we don't have one. So like I say, it's January, February, and March. We don't have a judge for those 3 months yet. Whenever you want to give it off, Bill.
Yeah, this is the current balance is $1,366.27. Now, I just dropped 4 checks off Bill Stoudemire and Dennis Liddell, and a couple other people last Saturday. And I don't think that's on here. So you can add another $100 to that. So it'd be $1,466.27.
Okay. Did you get that, Tom?
yes.
Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna encourage everybody to get your dues in to Bill. I've been sending his address out when I send out those notices, just so you don't have to look it up. Does anybody have any upcoming shows or exhibits or events that they want to mention?
I've got piecework next weekend.
Piecework?
Be down there at Thies Park, right down the hill from Nelson Art. It's right across the street from Channel 41 on Oak.
Formerly the Plaza.
Used to be on Plaza, yes.
So you're going to be doing some photography exhibit down there, or?
Yeah, I'll be down there. I'll be for 2 days.
It's an outdoor exhibition, Harry, or?
Yes, outdoor.
And what are the dates?
24th and 25th September.
Okay.
Where is it again, Harry? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Where is it going to locate again?
It's it's in Thies Park. It's just below Nelson Art Gallery. It's right across the street from Channel 41 on Oak. It's like 47th and Oak.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that a lot of exhibitors?
Yes, there is. We haven't had it for 2 years because of the COVID.
Mhm.
And it used to be in the park across the street from Nelson Art Gallery. I can't think of the name of the park now. Southmoreland Park. Yeah. And they moved it down into Thies Park because it's a lot better arrangement to get in and out of.
Okay, well, wish you luck down there, buddy.
Thank you.
Well, good luck.
I've done pretty good, and I've been in for like 4 or 5 different years and done pretty good in them. It's a competition against the plaza. All the people don't like going in the plazas, seeing all that high dollar stuff. We're a little bit lower than them.
Yeah.
I went to see the exhibit at the Nelson this this last weekend. The photo exhibit, the photographer's name is Dow. And it does a lot of photographs of signs and that kind of genre. And it's really, really a nice exhibit. If you haven't seen it, you might try to take that in.
And I would add that the Art Deco exhibit is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's very good also.
Is that also at the Nelson, or is that,
Yes.
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 okay. Okay, well, is there any other any old business we need to take up?
Has anybody heard from, oh, blanking, Jim?
Jim Jones?
Yeah, Jones. How he's doing?
Bill, I think you're the last one to talk to him.
Yeah, last time I talked to him, he was doing fine. He just said it was too far to drive for a meeting, and I don't know why he doesn't want to participate in the Zoom. I think maybe it has to do with his computer and the connection down there. He's doing okay.
Good.
Yeah, I actually sent Jim an invitation to join us this evening if he was up to it. Yeah, I know the last time he was on here, he was having it was either video or audio problems or something like that. And his internet, from what I gathered up there where he's at, is kind of sporadic at best. You either got it or you don't, and it's not that great up there. He's kind of out in a rural area where they don't
Feed's a
really have.
problem up there.
Yeah, they, and he's probably one of the last areas up there, in the Midwest that'll get a good internet connection. Yeah, I hate to see that, but that's kind of the way the animal goes. They go to the bigger places and they spread out to the smaller communities over a period of years. Yeah, we just got a new Verizon fiber run through the side of our yard out here this summer. I got mixed feelings about that, but we'll see how that goes. So anyway, that's I believe that's about all I have on my list of stuff to do, unless someone else has something. I'm ready to turn it over to Raymond and let him give us all a good lesson on high key photography or high key processing, if I'm saying that right.
Oh, high key photography.
High key photography, yeah.
Okay. Travis, can I share screen now or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You should be able to.
Okay. Let me get hide that. Okay, I can't see any of you right now. I've got my second monitor here, but it's consumed with my other folders that I'm going to use. So just speak up if you want to interject or have a question. First thing I wanted to say was that I know there's several of you who haven't been on before when I've been doing the Zoom meeting. And I just want to let you know that I work on a calibrated monitor. And with that said, I know a lot of people don't. So what I see here and what you see at home may be quite different. So if I'm describing something that you're saying, well, it isn't there, or it's too dark or too light, I'm going by what I'm seeing on my monitor. So with that said, I'm just going to go ahead with this on high key. First of all, the published, can you all see this Word document here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What was published right here is what the people who submitted went by. My definition is a little bit different than that, and you guys can read. I don't need to read it to you, but basically it's a little bit different. What was published was really a range from midtones to pure highlights and very little or no detail. And what I really intended to come across was that high key really ought to be lighter than the midtone, but always have perhaps a little bit of dark pixels. But it's got to be something kind of light and airy. It's a lot less of midtones than it is about highlights. So, and the opposite of that being low key. And while you're reading that, I'll bring that up. This is an example. Let me move this over to the side. This is the inverse of that, which is low key. And another example of that is this, again, low key, and high key being just the opposite of that. Sometime we might entertain that.
Raymond,
Yeah,
we're not getting any images
No,
other than your,
we just see your Word document.
yeah,
aren't you seeing my screen?
we just see the Word documents all.
Oh, really? Okay. Maybe, let me try this. You see that?
No, no difference.
Ah, bummer. Well, so much for that. Okay. Well, it's not something I can open in Photoshop anyway. So, okay. Well, anyway, the low key, which isn't really the subject tonight anyway, is really the opposite of what we're talking about here. And one of the images that I did send along, and I think it did get published to the group, was one of a face of a lady. And I'll bring this one up. This is different. This is mine. I shot this several years ago.
Still just seeing the Word document.
Really?
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong here? New share?
Yeah, you might.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. All right. There you go. Had to do a new share for some reason. Well, anyway, this is something, this is really kind of what I would consider something in the range of high key. It's got some shadow, obviously, and but it's kind of wispy and light. Probably had I redone this for this tonight, I'd have probably made it a little bit wispier, a little bit lighter, a little less than midtones, but that's kind of the idea. So with that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jury this based on what you guys saw in terms of what was published. Whoops.
Yeah, but before you leave there, can I ask a question,
Sure.
Raymond?
Yeah.
This is my personal opinion, but I struggle when I can't see the end of the gal's nose, her chin, or anything like that. Is there a point at which we go a little too far when we're talking about high key photographs?
You can, well.
I mean, I'd like to see the end of her nose, and in
Yeah.
other words, see a little more detail, maybe a
Well, I
little
mean, there's-
grayer, but not much. But just so you can see some details.
Yeah, on my screen, there is a little bit of detail on the
Okay,
nose.
maybe that's what my problem is.
Yeah, and you can see her shoulder right here,
I see that.
a little here, and there's a little bit right down in here of the arm.
That doesn't show at all.
Okay, you're not seeing it. Okay.
No, I don't
Okay.
see it either.
Okay. Well, what's coming across, everybody's seeing probably something a little bit different. It sounds like. But
Well,
anyway, with that said,
Raymond, would it be okay to say that when you're swinging an image this far to the high key or to the low key, that you're in the area of artistic interpretation, and how far you want to go with it is really an artistic decision.
That's very true.
In my opinion.
That's very true. And I think, you know, in a lot of cases, do you need to see everything? You know, like if I was missing her nose, like some of you are not seeing it, I know she has a nose. Do I need to know she has a nose? Probably not. It would be nice to see a little bit, you know, a little bit right in here. But do you need to see the jaw? There's a little bit of definition there. But do I need to see the exact outline of her face? No, I don't think so.
It's all in the eyes.
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, the eyes are what this image is all about. I was taking a class on fashion photography at the time that I shot this. But this was a result of something I just thought I'd show it as a starter point. But anyway, okay, well, let's start in on the actual images that you guys submitted tonight. Ah, dang it. Okay, let me go back to this and shut that one out. Okay. Okay, this is James Schultz. James, you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember. Duh. I've not seen everybody, so I'm just not more focused on this. I like what you've done here. I think it's a good attempt at the idea of high key. I think it really has, to the question earlier about detail, do you really need to see all of that? You've got a lot of mid-range tone, a lot of mid-tone in there, and not a lot of highlight. And high key is really about highlights.
I guess I really didn't quite understand.
Yeah,
the
well,
high key thing, because what the images that I kept trying to work with, I was struggling with the difference between something that is super contrasty, you know, to both extremes,
Yeah.
or whether or not it's supposed to be a really bright image without being super blown out.
right.
So that's where that I was struggling with, you know, finding that. And then when I saw your definition, which I hadn't seen
Yeah, I understand.
before.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry about that.
That's all right. No, you don't have to apologize. Like I say, I'm judging by what you guys had seen. And I'm going to just do a little bit of a playing around here. Yeah, I'm not getting what I really want, but that's kind of getting there. But you see what I mean? There's more highlight. You need a little more mid-tone. But something toward that direction. But I like what you've done. And according to the definition that was put out for you guys, I think you've done a nice job on this. And this is, what flower is this?
It's a real light purple flower. I don't know what kind it is.
Oh, okay. I was thinking zinnia or something like that, but I didn't know whether you knew the name
It
of the
was light
flower.
purple with yellow, which when you pulled those colors out into black and white, then they just mingled together and left you with a
Yeah, you know, and one of the things you might do in post-processing, you can go into the red, green, or blue channel or some of the adjusters, as long as your file is still in RGB, which hopefully it is.
Mhm.
You didn't convert to grayscale, I hope. You can still go into those channels and you'd be amazed at how much you can change that image.
Mhm.
Because you know the colors and you need to go into those channels and make those adjustments. And you can really do a lot in adjusting RGB, specifically in the 3 channels. Any other questions on this one? I mean, I keep closing my reference window here, sorry. With my cursor's in the wrong place, it closes the wrong window. Okay, this window. Don't save. Okay, everybody see that all right?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Dennis?
he's
When
not
Bill-
here this evening.
He's
Yeah,
working.
he's not
tonight.
here this evening, but he submitted this one. And well, about all I can say is I think it misses the point. I
Yeah,
mean, it's lighter, but it's almost like a regular black and white shot that is flat in tone. As far as a white value of 255 or 256, there isn't any. This looks more like a full range shot that's just totally flat. Anybody else have any comments on that, or?
it just looked like there's just too much contrast, like you turn it into a contrasty shot, or an image.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, right. I think it misses the mark, but
Yeah, he commented to me that it's just fog that he photographed there, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like the simplicity of the composition of this, and I can see where some cropping could really make this a dynamic image.
Yeah.
But I agree with Raymond, the high key effect is just not there.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at that.
There you go.
If
There
you're
you are.
looking at just a photograph, from a cropping standpoint, yeah, I think, Tom, you got a good point there. I think that something like that would be a better crop. Just way too much sky there. And there's nothing really interesting in these clouds that make it something that you really need or want to see. So.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe this is Mr. Malot's. And the name of it is Eggs and Flowers. Sorry, I should have said the titles before. I'm kind of a booger on titles. I'm big on titles. This, I think, really addresses the not the technique that we're really challenged with this evening. Tom, I think that everything, I mean, you got 6 eggs and then you got 3 flowers. And I love the arrangement on the eggs. And I think you've done a great job on placing the flowers. I assume you didn't paint all these white, did you?
No. No.
Okay. Well, I remember your oak leaf that I saw before, and
Yeah, okay.
that kind of brought that back to mind. But
Right.
again, there's, I mean, it's very well done. I think it's according to what the definition was, I think it's handled very well. I think it's cropped well. I like it from an art standpoint. it might be just a bit too much. I mean, from my definition, I would have probably backed off a lot of the midtones. Well, let's just see what we can do here. I'll just go into levels, just keep it simple.
Yeah, on my computer, it looks grayer than what I did. I was trying to hold a little bit of the shape of that top egg as I was doing what you're doing now.
Yeah,
I like what you got there. I do like that.
yeah, I think, yeah, getting rid of a lot of that midtone. And, you know, I still see some arc to the egg here. I don't know if most of you do or not, but I still see an arc to that. And to this one and this one, these are pretty obvious. That would be my comment on this one. I really like it, but I would have probably, in my definition, I probably would have backed off more on the midtones. But for the definition that you were provided, I think this falls right in there.
A point of interest might be if you guys, if you intend to photograph eggs right out of the refrigerator, they begin to pick up moisture and sweat, and it's very difficult to avoid glare. I finally boiled all the eggs, make them hard boiled, and then let them come to room temperature. And the egg, getting the eggs to the location was half the battle.
Then you ate them all, right?
You bet. You bet. Thank you.
Then your cholesterol went up.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, this one is Kathy Moffat's, and the title is Flower. So, okay. Again, according to the definition, it does have a lot of midtone in it. It doesn't have a lot of, I'm not sure I can say I see a 256 or 255 value anywhere at all. But I like the view or the camera angle, if you will, on the flower. You really know what it is. I mean, you know, I think the crop is good. The view angle is good. You get a sensation of depth. But again, I think just to give you guys an idea, do a little bit of an adjustment here. Well, working with this particular image, I'm not going to be able to get to where I want to be, but just want to eliminate some of those midtones and try to get some whites, which I'm not able to get here. Just a real simple basis here. So I'm not going to play with it much longer, but I do like the crop of it. I like the camera angle and the subject matter. Any other comments?
What kind of flower is that, Kathy?
I don't think she's on.
Yeah, she was on there.
Oh, is
I'm
she?
here. I don't know.
Hi,
I don't
Kathy.
even. Hi guys. I don't even remember what kind of flower that is.
Looks like a zinnia.
Could very well be.
Yeah, because I'm making out the center there, right above, right below where his mouth is. It looks almost like the center part of the zinnia coming up.
I don't think it makes much difference. It's just a pretty flower.
Yeah. This is a
Yeah, it is. That's
nice
why I'm
shot.
kind of curious what kind she shot there, because I got a garden full of zinnias out there.
They, this is titled Dancing Straw Flower. Seem like flowers are popular tonight.
And is this Marshall Raymond's?
This is Marshall Raymond's, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Again, he's got, you know, a lot of detail in here. And I think, I don't know if this value, get my eyedropper here. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's close. It's probably around the 230s, 240 range. But I mean, he's got good detail in all the subject matter with a limited depth of field. And I like that limited depth of field. It brings some of them into focus, some of them out of focus. And compositionally, I like this line, but I'm not sure that I would have cropped it this way. But from a high key standpoint, number one, I think it's got too much of a shadow range in it. I think subject matter wise or crop wise, probably I think the center is really the most interesting part of it. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to take that out of the picture or not, but yeah, this. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like what's going on here. The fact that this is nice out of focus touch here and focusing really on the flower. Let me just zoom that in. There's some really nice things going on in here. And I think this could have been done where, again, it would have been a lot less midtone, a lot less saturation of the shadow end, and needs more highlights. But
when you're talking about shadow end, you're talking about the darker areas
blacks.
right behind that flower.
Yeah, the blacks.
Okay.
There's just too much black for a high key.
Okay.
But it's not low key either. Not enough shadow for low key. But he's got some nice textural qualities going on. I mean, from that standpoint, I like what he's done there. This flower and this flower kind of attract my attention, but this long piece here, just I don't know how to deal with that. Crop it out or not, but anyway. And the vase down here, this flower, it just doesn't. I think it probably doesn't need to be there. I think it needs a different crop. Any other questions, comments? Well, this is kind of a repeat of what I have already gone through. It looks like, I mean, it's a regular picture, but but it's like, or image, it's really just flat. I think they, let's see, whose was this?
That's mine, Raymond.
Oh, it's Harry's. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
After I sent that, I read your instructions again. I figured I did wrong.
Well, according to what was originally published, I think, it said more midtones to highlight
Yeah.
and not much no shadow. And what's here is there's a lot of shadow.
Right.
It's kind of like a regular image, but it's flattened out tone wise. I think that it doesn't really, from my standpoint, it doesn't really fit into the category of a high key photograph necessarily. It doesn't reach that far.
Right.
I like it. I mean, if I take the fact apart that it is not high key, just looking at it as a subject matter, with the heart here and the three people standing in front of the World War I tower and at this museum and all the flowers, there's a lot of emotion that goes through my mind. I mean, I really like it from that standpoint, Harry. But as far as it's fitting into high key, even by the original definition, I think it kind of misses the mark a little bit.
Yeah, I understand.
Now, let me back up a little bit here too. One of the things when I was talking to Calvin, this was back in, what was it, February of last year, Tom? Or excuse me, Calvin? I think
Yeah,
it was
something like
February
that.
last year, we first started talking about this. And one of the things that the reason that I submitted this as a, if you will, subject matter, I feel like that, I mean, as long as I've been in the club, and Larry helped me on this, but I think we've beaten a lot of subjects literally to death.
Yep.
I think we've stomped on them and beat on them and everything. And one of the things I haven't seen is us stretching ourselves out technique wise.
Right.
And so what I wanted to do was select not a subject, but a technique, so that everybody was kind of challenged into stretching their technical capability out a bit, so that it wasn't so much repeat and repeat. So that was my intent, and I apologize if I have missed the mark or that isn't favorable to everybody, but I just wanted to kind of get everybody to think about getting out of their box and doing something they've never done before. And I've got a couple other good ideas too.
Sure. Yeah.
Run by
Yeah,
Calvin.
I want
But
to talk.
anyway.
Yeah, I want you to kind of talk about those, everybody, once we're all done, and kind of throw your the other ideas out that we had discussed.
Oh,
also.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Some of them are on composition, and red, I think, was one of them too, wasn't it, Calvin?
I believe so. Yeah, I'd have to go
Yeah.
back and find my notes
Okay.
again, but yeah.
All right. Okay, this is Roberto, and it's titled, I'm not familiar with Quint's shoes. It's a decorative shoe. I don't know what a Quint's shoe is. I guess I have to plead some ignorance on that, but
I think
Roberto,
it's short for quinceañera.
for
which
what?
is for- Quinceañera, it's just when a girl turns 16.
That's right. That's what I understood it to be.
Oh, okay. Well, I
They
learned
usually have-
something tonight.
They usually have a
doesn't-
big, yeah, they usually have a big party and the girl dresses up and
Right.
it's a big celebration.
He does
Coming
a
of
lot of
age.
that. He does a lot of that stuff on the side.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that must be what it is. What the title means. For the definition that was out there, I think this really does nicely fill the bill. I like it very much. And I think that per the definition, I think it fits the subject very well, or the technique very well. it's probably under, you know, for what I showed you originally, I think I would have probably taken some of the highlights out like I've shown here before. Let me just, maybe I could just use, yeah, just try this. Well, I'm not, I'd had to have the original image, but I didn't want to lose the netting feel like is up in here. But probably a little more on the light and airy side. And get rid of some of that mid-tone that you see. But I'd like to retain, I would have, to work on it more, I would have tried to retain more of that netting, a little more of that netting. But I like what he's done here. It's a, and it seems like a subject very much appropriate for, I don't think it's a wearable shoe, but I think it's appropriate for the celebration. Any other?
Raymond, you're correct. It's about, I don't know, 3.5 inches long
Oh,
at the most. It's a small.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's a small.
So it's a something you put on a shelf or
Yeah, exactly.
something like that. It's a decorative item, not
Right, it
necessarily
wouldn't be wearable. It's too small.
not a physical shoe. Okay,
Right.
okay. Any comments or questions?
yeah, that is a very unusual shoe for, I've never
Yeah.
seen anything like it. Never
Yeah.
seen anything like it. Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, again, by the original definition, I think, you know, this is on the right track. The looks like a clear plastic, like a raincoat or something that she's donned in. I'm trying to see. This is Gary Walden. Gary? Gary,
Yeah.
can you tell us something about this?
Photograph. I took that of a granddaughter, and she dyed her hair. And actually, she had kind of a red plastic poncho
Ah, okay.
on. And I took it in sunroom, so it kind of looked like a natural high key because the background was kind of blown out. So
Yeah,
that's why I played with it. And she dyed her hair black.
okay.
I thought, well, I'll go with that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think from a photo or an image standpoint, is this a hairpin or is this something in the background?
I say that's probably a frame of a window in background.
Okay, I think that's kind of disturbing to me anyway. I think I'd have probably eliminated that. That shouldn't have been too hard. I like I mean, there's a hint of complexion here. I personally, like my definition, I would have probably taken more of the midtones out of it. But it's a nice relaxing shot. I'm not sure that this chair being here, I probably would have moved the chair out of the image. If you could, I assume it was just a chair you could move.
Yeah.
I don't think it really
Reason I
complements.
kind of left that chair in there, I thought it would kind of keep your eye from falling off the page, so to speak.
Oh,
I mean, that was my
Well, your
That
eye
was
is
my
going,
theory.
we read right to left, or excuse me, left to right.
Uh,
And when I'm reading, if you will, this image, I'm seeing this way. So if you
Yeah.
were talking about this going out of the picture, this would have had to been over there to do that. So that's why I'm saying that, Gary.
mhm.
Raymond,
Yeah,
what if he cropped in and just got a head and shoulder shot just off the edge of the page of that book? You got it really tight on her face and her hair, maybe just a little bit of shoulder.
yeah.
So like I said, I don't know, just that angle, you may not be able to.
I could eliminate that.
Right, but I
Yes.
mean, if you got any even in tighter, where you're really her
Oh,
head.
tighter?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of looking at that because.
Well, if
Yes.
that's the case, I probably would have eliminated the.
Yeah, you would
magazine.
eliminate the bug, but
Yeah,
yeah, and that would have let you drop the frame down a little bit lower and you got a little bit more of her shoulder
yeah,
or in there.
yeah, that would be a nice, and it's on the line of thirds here, the
Uh-huh.
mouth and the eye.
Mhm.
Time is it?
Raymond,
Yeah,
if I can, I really like the actual idea of this picture from the beginning. If you go back full frame here, I really like the idea of the intent of the lady reading the book. The choice of what book you have, I think, might be a problem because if there's anything in letters or reading, you tend to want to read it.
yeah,
Yeah.
And that directs my attention away from this beautiful face and the soft tones on that face.
yeah,
So a choice of a book that had just a muted design or something, and maybe would be a suggestion. I love the overall concept of this picture.
Yeah.
And I do agree, though, the chair in the background is a little distracting, and the black of her hair seems to be, in my opinion, a little bit, from away from high key.
yeah. And that could be that. I mean, you can go into, and again, I'll use curves. Well, I'll use bright. I'll use curves.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I love the concept of this picture.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful picture.
Well, I'm thinking cropped here, without the magazine, but again, I would like to emphasize, I'd probably burn in the eyes a little more, kind of like toward that image that I had at first, but let this kind of get light and airy, if you will,
Fall off. Yeah.
and eliminate the chair. And I think that, or if you really need to have this in there, blur it.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be hard to do. But you don't, what you don't want to do, to Tom's point, is I stop here. There's always a landing point in an image.
Yep. Yep.
And you, the photographer, are in control of that landing point. Okay. And so it's the first thing that I or any of us has seen. And to Tom's point, the first thing you stop and see is you're forced to stop here and read this.
Yep.
Oh, it's Reader's Digest. Oh, there she is. It's second or third down the priority when you're looking at it. Go ahead.
What if you took out, or like you said, blurred out the magazine face and then flipped the whole image horizontally?
I think
The chair would be your stopper.
Yeah, I think it'd be going the wrong way. Let me show you. We naturally read left to right.
Yeah. So if you
And-
take the lettering out of the magazine,
Yeah, yeah, it takes that kind of out of the first point of because it's backwards. You don't want to stop and necessarily read that. In graphic arts, I'm used to reading stuff backwards, so I do read it, but that's a different thing. I think that the image needs to be left to right in this particular case. I'm not sure compositionally that it works this particular direction. And the function of the chair, I think, is not a good reason to move it this way.
Okay.
Just my opinion.
just thinking out loud.
Yeah. No, it's always good to flip things like this. And another thing is do this. When you're working on work, oh my gosh, I see things that I didn't see before.
Yeah.
It's kind of like working with a view camera, and I know a few of you have done that. You see things that way that your mind says, oh, I don't want that in there. I don't want that in there. I do want that, and I need to add a little more room over here. But it's because the image is upside down. It's not a normal view. And then you can always bring it back, to normal. So I think it reads a lot better this direction. But again, that's just my opinion. Any other comments?
Well, I think it works that way well also because of the angle that her head is slightly tilted towards the book. So that kind of gives you, that it's kind of, it works, going left to right that way. Just her head is just subtly tilted just a little bit.
Right. Yeah, I think the pose without the book could have been the same, but I think it probably would have involved more of her hands. I think I would have, brought the hands together in a way that she's kind of looking at her hands or something in her hands. If the hands were overlapped and kind of cupped, if you will.
There you go.
Or there was a tea, a cup of tea in there. Teacups, and especially Oriental, are very tiny, delicate kinds of things. But just a way of changing the props around. And could have had the same level of interest. But I really like this crinkly, it's almost a constructive tension because it's so non-traditional to the Japanese custom. I mean, I could see a clear transparent, which to me, that's probably what it is. But in actuality, it was red, which doesn't really matter. It comes off, I think, very nicely this way. But that's as it is originally. Okay. And Bill,
Yes.
tell us a little about this one.
Well, I was just kind of playing around trying to decide what this is actually kind of, I turned this, so it's not really, the flower in the center would actually be facing right. So it didn't look good that way, and I turned it around.
Okay. Your title was Floral Mix, correct?
Right. Yes.
Again, I think there's, even for the original definition, I think there's really probably in this case, too much blacks. And there is a lot of highlight, but there's an awful lot of mid-tone in here. Well, a mixture of shadow and mid-tone, not mid-tone, but all kinds of tones around in here. I probably would have cropped this a little differently to get rid of some of that. Just for purposes of the subject and the technique. I'd have probably tried to focus the content around these three flowers. I think there's way too much going on in the rest of the image for the way I think of it. I mean, this content here, does it really need to be there? Is it supporting the image? Yeah, because you always see leaves and stuff around there, but do I need to see leaves? In my mind fills in a lot of blanks. So when I'm looking at flowers, you know, the flower is the primary thing that I want to be looking at. The leaves, they come along with it. I know that. My mind tells me that. I don't need to know that. And in this case, they're there, but are they really supporting what you're trying to look at here in the way of the three flowers here? And I like the fact that you've got three that are kind of different tonal structures. This one in particular, you've also used a out of focus. I assume you set it intentionally out of focus, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I think the content again just needs to be focused more on the flower itself and probably a little bit less in the dark tones for the technique.
Yeah, and I like your crop. I think that's much better.
Yeah, I you know, if it doesn't support the image, and it's a distraction from the image, it doesn't need to be in the image. And that starts in the camera. So you need to make that definition or that call, if you will, before you even push the button to take the picture. Kind of like using a view camera. There's a lot of work, but I know, you know, when I'm taking a picture, I will spend, depending on the conditions or what the subject is, but I'll spend several minutes just looking through the viewfinder, composing, adjusting the telephoto or the macro or whatever it is, or adjusting the height of the tripod, or, you know, whatever I need to do to see that what I'm capturing is what I really want. And then I try to add about 10%, because if I need to move a little bit more this way or that way in the final crop, I've got a little bit of room to be able to do that. But I try to eliminate in the camera any of this kind of stuff like what you're referring to, Bill. It doesn't need to be there. It doesn't support the image. Okay, moving on. Okay, Bill Schaaf,
Yes,
title Luminous.
yeah,
Correct.
lilies,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you have it here, luminous. Oh, luminous lilies. That's right. Sorry.
That's all right.
You want to tell us a little about what you did here?
Yeah, I took that in my backyard. We have a small flower garden back there. And that was taken earlier this year. Those are eyeliner lilies. There's a little bitty black outline on the outside of each one of those, excuse me, petals.
Yep. That's unusual.
That is.
Yeah. That's why
Ah, neat.
Why, my wife got those, yes.
What color are they?
They're white.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I like it from the standpoint of a black and white image. From a standpoint of high key, yes, it has a lot of white in it. But if you look at a lot of the other images that were closer to the definition, I think you see what I mean. But as a black and white image, you know, I like what you've done here. You've got a lot of nice tones, and you've effectively used the focus. And I think probably if it were just a regular image, I would have probably darkened down a lot of the background, taken more out of the image, and really worked on this being the primary image, with perhaps a supporting image, you know, here and maybe one here back. This may be from this. No, it's not from the same flower. It's a different flower. But from a high key technique standpoint, it kind of misses the mark. But you've handled this in here very, very well. You know, my compliments on, you know, the pistil and the stamen area of the flower are really, really well done. I love that little outline. But as far as the technique, I think it kind of just misses the mark. And you probably saw that from what some of the other images look like. Any questions or comments?
What did you crop that one? Right down to, you know, mostly to the center of that flower.
Whoops, sorry. Yeah. Let me get rid of that. Let me reopen that. Maybe not that much.
Yeah, it's close. Or either, yeah.
It's
Now
kind of
we
like
get,
this coming
Yeah.
at you, so to speak.
now are we getting closer?
Still got too much black.
Still too much black.
Yeah,
Right.
from a high key standpoint, it still doesn't. Well, let me hang on a minute.
And you know, Raymond, can you hear me?
Yeah.
That black in the center, those stamens are not, they're not black. They're probably a dark red or an orange or a brown.
Here, yeah.
And you could use your sliders then to just fade that, just pale that out
Oh yeah, yeah. That'd be easy. That'd be easy.
down to a delicate gray that still stands out, but doesn't have that much contrast.
Yeah, I would probably pick this part, and I like what's going on here,
Yes, yes.
and I think I'd probably pick this part and probably make it a little bit stronger. But yeah, tone this black down a little bit. I'd probably blur, or somehow take this out, this content, or darken it down. Well, maybe not for high key though.
Right. You know, the choice of flower that you use for these kind of pictures is extremely important. You need to have a flower that has a light center and yet enough definition to separate it from the rest of the flower that
Yeah.
you can really maneuver in your Photoshop. My opinion.
Yeah, I've opened up those blacks a little bit, but it's
Yeah.
about as, just using levels here as a quickie. It doesn't really do much.
Yeah, they're solid.
Any
I
other
love-
comments or questions?
I love this picture just as it is right there.
Yeah, well, yeah, I understand. Yeah. Okay. This is high key. This is titled Shell Ghost. And this is by Tom Weddebush. Tom,
Yes.
you want to give us a little background on this?
Well, I mean, I saw your example and I thought, well, I just need to get something and just, blow it out. So I took a couple of high intensity LED lights. I set this up with a white background and LED lights on both sides. Set
Yeah,
it up on my tripod and just, I kept playing with the ISO and forget the other. I'm blanking, but I just kept playing with the aperture and, tried to hone in on it. Some of them were, too dark and some were too light. And so, yeah, are you darkening up a little bit?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it just needs some dark tones to get the full impact of the shell.
Okay. Well, I was trying to blow away from that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why, when you talk about high key, everybody thinks, oh, you got to be like from about 200 to 255 or 56. And you don't. And this is why. Well, let me go back to your original. I mean, this is why that's kind of what you've got. Well, you've got maybe a tone value in the 175s, 180s, but everything else is pretty much white. Well, it doesn't really give you the snap or the little bit of outline that it needs.
Okay.
To tell you, first of all, what it is. I can see kind of what it is. I can see the shell. I can't see the full shape of the cell. This looks like the nose of the shell.
It is. It is.
And it gets
Yes.
into larger and larger and larger. And then you've got curvature back here
Correct.
on the shell. I see that, but this is why high key only by itself just doesn't work. It's like in low key, you need a little bit of highlight to really offset that. In this case, you need a little bit of shadow to bring
Okay.
out that little bit of detail, but you still need to keep it light and airy. I mean, this is definitely light and airy, but needs a little bit more darkness to give you that contour. My mind is filling in the fact that this is the front of the shell. I can see all of this. I can fill that in, but from a high key standpoint technique, it just needs some of that other.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Raymond, that 256 number you keep referencing, is that absolute pure white
Right.
or something like back in the old days when we were in the dark room, it would be like a paper-based white with no detail. Is that
That's
kind of where we're going?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, zero is black and 255. Some people prefer to use 255. 256 is absolute, like you say, paper white.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, this one is kind of squirrely.
Yeah.
his title's Sitting Pretty. Calvin, you want to give us a little background on this?
Yeah, this squirrel was just sitting there watching me while I was taking pictures out in the backyard here last summer. I had no idea to use this thing for anything. I just took it just for the fun of taking it, because he was sitting on our back fence with his tail laid over the front of the fence in front of him. So I took his photo. And like I say, listening to your description of the high key, I'm kind of saying, okay, I got probably too many blacks, too many midtones in there, but I pushed this a little further, but I didn't like it because I lost enough detail. She really couldn't tell what it was out past his nose or his eyes or parts of his ears. So tear it up, Raymond.
Well, I'm not going to tear it up. But,
Well, no, I mean, but if you were going to really work this over, what would you do to this one?
I would reduce the midtones, and less a little bit. I'd certainly make this area, I guess you can see what I'm pointing at here with the mouse. Make this a little darker. I want that eye darker. We were talking about having some blacks in this. Let's hang on a minute. See what we can do. A little bit of adjustment here, quickie kind of adjustment.
There.
Yeah, kind of, that's about as close as I can get with this, just this one adjustment. But something like that, I don't need to see the definition of the tail. I know it's a tail. And I see the textural quality of the squirrel's fur. So, I mean, if you look at this.
Okay.
That's what I would have, I mean, this is close to what I would have taken it.
Yeah, I was trying to leave enough detail where you could tell he was actually sitting on a picket fence, but I don't know if that was important or not, or.
Well, other images are a lot the same way. You don't have to have everything there to tell the story, or not necessarily the story, but, I know it's a squirrel. If I didn't even see the body, I know it's a squirrel. And do I need to know more than that? In this particular case, compositionally, I think, this works really well. You got a nice curve here, and you've got, it looks like some fencing material here, picket fence. And he's posing very nicely for you. I think I might have added a little more white on this side compositionally. But I think this is more where you might want it to be.
Okay.
I just like to say, I think this is a real nice image. It's a subject that we all have seen thousands of times, but it's different pose. It's a different shape. It's a different crop, and it has phenomenal impact, in my opinion, with that eye.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This is
Calvin,
good.
that's a very nice image, Calvin.
Very good.
Definitely a wall hanger.
My wife is in love with this picture.
Is she?
Yeah.
It's a great one.
Now, I will tell you, on the right side of it, I burned that completely out to get it pure white, because that fence picket right to his right, or right next to his tail, made it look like he was squared off on the backside. It looked like his back end was squared off.
Oh.
I thought, can't do that. Gotta just let it fade off into nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
I was trying to lose the hard details, yet keep enough of it. And
You did
I don't know
good.
if you guys can see it on there, but I managed to save his whiskers.
You did good. You did
know?
good. Man, that's good.
That was a lot of work to save those whiskers on the left side of his face.
Put that in a white mat and a silver frame.
Absolutely.
Maybe even a white frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go silver. I'm in love with silver now.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
But anyway,
That
that concludes all of the 12 images that I had downloaded. Is there anybody here that uploaded something that I didn't catch? Hearing none, I assume that means none. So I'm going to, I was asked to make some choices on number ones and so on and so forth. This one I picked as first place.
Thank you very much.
And
what's the title on that again?
I'm sorry.
Eggs and flowers.
Eggs and flowers.
Very nice, Tom.
Thank you. Thank you.
And number two was this one, second place.
And what was the title on that one again? I can't remember.
Beg pardon? Oh, that was titled Quince, Quince, by Roberto Carlos.
Okay.
And third place is the squirrel sitting pretty, sorry. And fourth place for honorable mention is Kathy's. I felt those were all, as far as close to the, or true to the technique, and from an artistic standpoint and all of that, and a creative standpoint, I would rank those that way.
Okay. What was the title on hers again?
Hers was flower.
Just flower. Okay.
Simply as flower.
Okay.
I mean, some of the others, you know, I would pick, you know, probably subject matter and so on better, but this closer to the technique requested.
Well, thank you, Raymond.
Okay. Do you want me to go over some of the, just a minute. Let me bring up one here that I think is dear to my heart anyway. Where'd to go? Where'd to go? Oh, here. Oh, that's not the whole image.
We've got nothing, Raymond.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to share screen again. These are PDFs. You got something now?
We do.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Increase that a bit. Yeah. This is a compositional principle where it focuses where you have placement of objects, and it encompasses this curve. And as it tightens, your focus is more closely associated to this part of the curve. I don't know if any of you are familiar with this technique or this It's, but it dates back a really long time. It's older than I am, which is quite a bit. But there's some compositional techniques that I think there's a golden triangle, the Fibonacci. There's lots of things that maybe some of you have not even heard about. But I'd like to see us try to stretch ourselves to do things that are more along the technique rather than subject oriented. To kind of get us out of the box and away from just beating some of the same subjects to death. And maybe even something low key.
What'd you call this curve again?
This is a
Fibonacci.
yeah, the Fibonacci.
Fibonacci, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and this guy, what, 1400?
Yeah.
It dates back centuries. You know, I've seen sculptures that are based on this principle, and they're beautiful. I mean, it's very, very pleasing to the eye. The Greeks back, you know, before the Romans even, you know, all their statues, you think, oh, that's a perfect body, you know, out of marble, but it's a mathematical model, and that's why it's so beautiful. And they kept that model. There is never a human being that has that model to them. It just doesn't exist in humanity. But they made this mathematical model, but unless your eye really picks up on the fact that it's not a normal human being structure, you wouldn't know it, because it's just so overwhelmingly mathematically, it really is very pleasing to the eye. But yeah, they structured all their Greek statues based on that for many, many centuries. So a lot of this goes back, you know, well before even the Camera Club. But there's things I think we could all learn from trying to stretch ourselves. I mean, you could shoot some of the same subject you did, like we did tonight, different subjects, but one technique. So I would just encourage us to look at that kind of thing for next year, as when we talk about subject matters or techniques rather than subject matters.
Yeah, if you're using Lightroom or Adobe Camera Raw when you're in the crop tool, if you hit the letter O, it actually cycles through
Several of these.
Yeah, a bunch of different.
Yeah. And you know, that's the other thing too. I think a lot of people use Photoshop or Lightroom to what, 5, maybe 10% of its capabilities. And you really need to go in and just play with things, and or maybe even online. There's a lot of good YouTube, or even Adobe has videos on the use of either one of them. They are similar, but, and I don't know whether you guys know it, but Lightroom, when you open an image, it is always in a different color space than what you shot it, or maybe even what you wanted. So it's in a very high color space. So when you save your images out of Lightroom, be sure you save them to a converted light or color space. Very important. And when you're converting to black and white, never do a conversion, because you're losing 2/3 of the data. It's no longer an RGB file. Well, it looks like one but all the values are the same. The red, green, and blue channels are identical. You know, there is no, and you've lost all of that adjustment capability. Like Tom was referring to, you know, the sliders that are off to the side, they're totally ineffective. Even when you go into Photoshop black and white, all those sliders, they're totally useless. So be careful when you're doing conversion to black and white. In fact, in Photoshop, Camera Raw, never, ever convert to black and white in camera raw, because you will get exactly that. You'll get a non-RGB file. You'll get an RGB file, but it's all the same, and it's a smaller file, but smaller file. But those are all things that you guys probably need to be aware of. Or maybe some of you don't really care, but that's all right. It's things you should be aware of, because it can impact the results of your work. And it definitely impacts what you're capable of doing with your work. Anyway, that's all I have.
This image here, what you've got is achieved by laying a graph of that curve over your image.
Yeah, and like Travis was saying, you know, you do that, and it's like it'll show up on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And you can move your image around in it. In fact, in this particular case, if you really wanted to use this compositional piece, when you set the shot up, you can't do it afterward. This has to happen when you do the shot. Unless you really get lucky.
Okay.
So again, spend time looking through the viewfinder or whatever, thinking about what you want the end thing to look like, and crop by whatever means, whatever, be adjust the telephoto or change the f-stop to get the right blur, or soften it in another way, or whatever techniques you do, because when you get into post, yeah, there's a lot of things you can do, but you know, it's far better off if you can do it in camera. So it all starts in the camera. That's Ansel Adams' thing too, but he did a lot in the darkroom. But it all starts in the camera. If you don't have it in the camera, you don't have it.
Right.
Well, anyway,
so what does everybody think? You want to try this technique for a subject here next year?
This particular one, or
this
something
one,
else?
or if there's a number of them we can pick from. But
Well,
yeah, I like the idea that we're looking at a technique in post processing more than just saying, yeah, I'm gonna go out here and shoot a milk can on the farm.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let me think about some techniques, and I'll come up with some more for next September.
Okay.
And you can choose from.
Great.
I'll provide 3 or 4 of them, not a plethora, but 3 or 4 of them. You can go from there.
Does everybody like that idea?
Did we
Yeah,
have,
sounds good.
did we have one time negative, like
Yeah.
doing a negative of an image to see if you come up with something interesting?
Well, that's real simple. Just do an invert.
Right. But getting a good composition and good tones and stuff like that, thinking in reverse while you're shooting is can be challenging, but
Yeah. But, you know, again, the power of the mind to be able to view in your mind these things. And that's really what's important when you're shooting. Envision the print.
Yeah.
Okay, who's got control of the screen? Travis?
yep, I can take it back.
You in control of that?
Yep.
Okay.
So how'd you guys like that?
Yeah, it was good.
Very interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
challenge.
Okay.
Well, challenges are better than none.
Yeah.
And like I say, Larry, what year did I join the club? Was it 80? You invited me in what, 83 or 4?
Yeah, it was somewhere in that time frame.
We were meeting at the basement of the what was that white building over there on
Oh,
State
God, I
Avenue?
don't remember anymore. There was only like 9 people in the club.
Yeah. But anyway,
think
that's
that
a long
was-
time ago.
I think
But
that was the
anyway.
basement of a bank.
Yeah, it was some kind
That's
of
what it
bank.
was. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. It was
Yeah.
basement of a bank. But yeah, good old days.
Yeah.
We've moved up in the world.
And I had heard about the club from the guy that was teaching photography at Hickman Mills High School. That's how
Oh,
I learned
really?
about the club. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw him at what's that park in Raytown where they camped on the Santa Fe Trail, right off of Gregory.
Oh, yeah, yeah, where
Pink
the,
Spring Park.
yeah.
Yeah, I ran into him photographing out there with a view camera and got into a conversation with him. And my wife said, I think my wife was picture lady or something at the time and told me, you go talk to that guy. He teaches photography at this high school.
Hey, by the way, tell Barbara hi.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Was she trying to tell you something about your photography?
Oh, she does pretty regularly.
Hey, do you still have that?
Right now she's bitching because I have finally gotten drugs kicking and screaming into digital.
Ah,
Welcome.
Welcome. Yeah.
I bought a D850 and I got 2 brand new Nikon lenses. And I'm pushing for a 3rd one at Christmas.
ooh,
That's
oh,
good.
boy. Well, if they're F mounts, you better get them in a hurry.
Yeah. Well, I want a 300. They got that new 300 that has a Fresnel element inside it.
Yeah.
It's only it's like a 1/4 inch longer than my 70-200 and like 2/3 the weight.
I was 10 seconds from getting a D800 and missed it by 10 seconds. So I ended up getting a D500, but I love it. Love it. But yeah, F mount lenses have been discontinued.
Yeah. My 300, my Nikon 300, that was the first version of the ED lens.
Yeah.
Isn't too bad, but it doesn't have the contrast of the new lenses. It means its resolution is pretty good, but the contrast is a little softer. But I can kick the contrast up in Lightroom and come out pretty decent. But boy, that 70-200 f2.8, that thing is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, that's an animal.
Heavy but phenomenal.
Well, anyway, I will work on some techniques for next September.
Okay.
Is anybody doing any wet chemistry there?
Wet what?
Wet chemistry? Actually,
Wet
dark
what?
room.
Wet what?
Very seldom. And in fact, I'm only doing it when I take a film camera out only to develop the film. I can go into a changing bag with a tank and get it loaded. They bring the tank out in the daylight and do the processing. In fact, I'm actually getting it as it cools down a little bit. I'm going to go back out in the field. I'm going to take one of my old Brownie box cameras out with some 120 film and see what I can hang around with that thing.
The camera store here in town closed.
Really?
Oh yeah, we don't have a camera store here anymore, even though it's a university town. But I was having trouble getting chemicals, and I finally started buying some chemicals from Photography Formulary in Montana. I was shocked that I've been using Dectol and Ilford paper developer all these years.
Yeah.
I bought some paper developer based on the Ansco 130 formula that they've advertised. I couldn't believe the difference in my prints. The blacks just almost pop off the paper. Oh yeah. So and
you're
then
still doing some wet chemistry, huh?
I'm still doing some wet chemistry. I haven't done any in the last few months, but I got that 4x5 and I enjoy playing with it.
Yeah. I've got rid of all the enlargers, and in fact, I'm getting ready to gut this room here over the winter, and because I've still got a lot of stuff set up in here to do the wet process all together. I've still got the easels and trays and all that. If I can't find somebody who wants them, they're just gonna go away.
I got a 11x14 that I shot with that view camera going to the N4C convention in black and white. And I tilted the front lens, the whole smear, and got enormous depth of field. But that I can't remember the formula. It's an Ansco 130 type formula. If you get on their website, it mixes. It almost looks like it's oxidized when you mix it. It's really dark, color-wise. But God, the prints, the blacks just pop. with
Wow.
Ilford paper. It's just unbelievable. I'm just shocked. I'm kicking myself for not finding this a long time ago.
Well, Ilford's a good paper.
Yeah.
And then they make a D76 formulation that's a film developer. That's a D76 type formula, but it is really good also. So between the two of those, it has really kicked my black and white up a little bit.
Great, great.
But I'm not doing, like I say, I haven't been in the darkroom for some months. I bought that D850 last spring and I'm swamped trying to learn that thing. Plus Lightroom on top of it.
Yeah, it's rich in capability.
Is that place that's what, off of 95th and close to Metcalf, still
Yeah.
processing film?
Oh, yeah. Process one.
I think so, yeah.
Process one,
what-
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're doing
Yeah.
printing too.
There was a shop off of Metcalf someplace. I still see them on the internet.
81st or 82nd,
87,
87.
Overland Park Photo.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
Hold on, photo. That's really our only real camera store here in the metro.
That's what I was wondering, yeah.
What about Wolf's in
yeah.
Topeka?
Yeah, I'll share a story with you guys. 10 years ago, when I retired, I went to Alaska with a friend of mine from my days at the Bendix there in Kansas City. And we broke down in Homer. We were on an old Homer right on the overlooking the beach. And I was down on the beach every morning with this view camera, taking pictures of the sunrise on the Kenai Mountains to the west. And this lady comes up to me and says, "I just gotta have a picture of you with that view camera." So I said, "What do you want?" She said, "You gotta get under the hood." So I get under the hood. And
yeah, yeah.
focus and stuff. I said, "You want to see what I'm doing?" You know, yeah. So they'll get under the hood and you'll see a piece of ground glass with some lines on it. And the image isn't focused. It's all focused. So you'll be able to see what I'm getting a picture of. She comes back out. She says, "How do you take a picture with that? It's upside down."
Yeah.
Yep.
But Raymond's point is, the reason I bring that up is Raymond's point is very accurate. Working with stuff that's upside down really makes you look at what you're doing.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And I'm a neophyte yet at that.
Is Wolf's in Topeka still operating?
I think they
don't think
closed,
so.
James.
I haven't heard much about them lately, but
I think they
might be.
closed.
I think they closed.
Did
Yeah, I
they?
used to get emails, for, bargain days or whatever it was, specials. And that discontinued and I just
Yeah.
never followed up to see whether or not they're there or not.
Yeah. Yeah, because Laurel Photo, Laurel Photo, that Bart and Patty who own that business used to work for CJ Photo. And when he closed up, he just laid everybody off. So they went out there and opened up that camera store.
A lot
So-
of camera stores really can't make it now because, I mean,
Right.
it's like Brookside Photo. He moved over there on State Line under a different
Right.
name.
Crick Photo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Crick
Crick.
Photo. And
Yeah, they're
I
out
mean,
there now.
people would come in and they would handle the camera and then they go out and order it on the internet.
Yeah.
You just can't make any money that way.
But so far, they've made a pretty good run out of at Orland Photo. Actually, they got broken into twice out there. Somebody went in there nighttime and cleaned out a bunch of stuff, but they've been doing good. I'll ask him every once in a while, how's business? Oh, it's great. They got a steady flow of people coming in on foot and on the internet buying stuff from them.
Well,
How's the-
They have a lot of student business though, too,
Yeah.
don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I've heard that the university here, at University of Iowa here in Iowa City is teaching a photography class that's film-based again. So you can buy pretty much any film you want on the internet yet.
Yeah.
Especially black and
But
white.
Johnson County was also had a.
Yeah, Johnson County is still teaching.
Mhm.
still
Oh,
teaching
And I think
film.
the Metropolitan Junior College over here at Longview is.
Yeah, they're doing it too, Raymond.
Yeah. In fact, I think Tom donated a bunch of his stuff to him. But remember that gal from Iowa City pulled her trailer down here and I sold her my whole dark room at probably
yeah,
$10,000.
kind of, yeah. Yeah.
That was in 2000, I think.
Well, I'm in a photo club here in town. I'm the only one that still does any wet chemistry at all.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Hey, what's happened to N4C? Are they still active?
Yeah, but the judging just sucks. Just
It
terrible.
sucks worse than it used to suck?
Yeah, I think so. I was out yesterday with one of the past presidents of the N4C. I don't know, you haven't been here for a long time. We actually have the property across the street that you'll remember is now a harvest, is a preserve, a harvest preserve. It's a private, and I'm a
Oh,
member
really?
of it.
Yeah, that's great.
The guy brought a whole bunch of stones from Indonesia, and we have our own stone circle up there, if you know where it's at.
Yeah.
So yesterday, I took this guy out, and he has a drone, and he wanted to be out there at shortly after sunrise with those vertical stones. Some of them are about 10, 12 feet tall.
Wow.
Shadowing it, across the grass.
Is that barn still there?
Yeah, the barn's still there. Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
So anyway, I took him out, because I've been a member of it since they started having memberships. And we took drone shots of that. And then there's a massive 110-ton Indiana limestone sculpture right on Scott Boulevard, right from my house. It's called Sitting Man. It's about 20 feet tall.
Well, Larry, are you jurying this next year or next month?
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, how many prints? When will you guys be sending that stuff? Approximately.
I'm gonna try to have everybody get their stuff in no later than the 1st of October.
Okay.
That's
I'm
how
on, I'll be out in Oregon, but I'll take my laptop with me. So I'll be able to access the internet from there.
Right, because I give you the link and you can go online and look at the prints anyway and start getting an idea, as they get on there. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get everybody pushed to get them on there by the 1st of October, which is I think the first Saturday in October.
Well, my Olathe daughter got transferred to Seattle.
Oh, she
Her
did?
husband's job got transferred. And then my North Illinois daughter moved to Corvallis, Oregon. So.
Oh, geez.
Well, they're close.
Yeah, 5 hours apart.
Yeah.
If I leave Iowa City, I'm moving to Corvallis. You talk about beautiful. That Willamette Valley. I can see why in the 1800s, all people migrate out there. The weather is phenomenal.
Wow.
It barely freezes in the wintertime. Doesn't get real hot in the summertime. Beautiful area. She could see 3 snow-capped mountains from around town.
Well,
Guys, have a good evening. I'm going to slip out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So about the 1st of October, and then the meeting will be
Is the
that
14th.
Friday, whatever that date is. Yeah. My problem is I'm flying back on the Tuesday, but with the airlines and the trains, who knows when I'm at home.
You may be in a motel.
Yeah, and driving, I've
Harry.
driving this long ways.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a long haul.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be out of town and no access to any services. So if you record the process, then I'll try to view it when I get back.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to do it on Lightroom. Looks like I've got Lightroom. I'm getting used to it. So looks like that's what you would do. You were using Photoshop, weren't you?
I'll use Photoshop.
But Lightroom should work about the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to figure all that out. So that works for everybody.
Hey, James.
Take
Okay.
care, James.
All right. Take
Have a
care,
good trip.
guys.
But Larry, as we get close to it, I'll kind of watch the website and once it gets posted up there, and I'll keep you up on, when we're getting the prints on there.
Yeah, just send me an email. Keep me posted.
Sure.
If I don't, I'll have access to email out there either on my laptop or on one of my kids' computers.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can just
Okay.
download the images from the Google Drive and import them into Lightroom. You should be able to crop them, edit them as you need.
Yeah, I want some time to really go over them. So I'll be working on. Yeah.
Sure.
Nice seeing all you guys again.
Hey,
Good to see
good seeing
you.
you again, Larry.
Yeah.
Take care.
Take care.
Good night.
Night.